Welcome back to the first episode podcast, everybody.
Can we hire
Rico
a band to play that song on repeat at a party for like 3 hours?
That'd be amazing.
It's a great song. I recently heard it on a...
What?
Yes.
I thought we had
the worst podcast. Did they finally find us?
I was watching TV, as I often do for work, and there was a commercial, and it was a Little Caesars commercial. And at the end of the Little Caesars commercial, it's playing our theme song of...
What?
I'm suing them immediately.
No fucking way.
We're going to own half of Little Caesars.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the rights. But I don't own the rights. Somebody else could also buy the rights. But that's awesome. It shows we've got good taste, unlike people who eat Little Caesars.
Yes, exactly. Which is I eat a lot of Little Caesars, so
no shit.
Currently in the present day,
is East Coast Little Caesars the same as West Coast Little Caesars? How's the quality control?
Actually, no, I haven't seen it here. I don't know if we have it here in Virginia. We don't. I haven't seen it. If it is here, maybe it's not in this neighborhood yet. But
it's little Epstein's. It was Jeffrey Epstein's child-run pizza delivery service. They only served personal-sized pizzas that children could carry.
It was served by kids, and they were dressed like the Caesar guy in shrouds.
Island.
Island pizza.
In the Greek times, child love was looked upon fondly as a gift from the gods.
If you're at Epstein Island and you order room service, do children bring it? And there's like a no eye contact rule. Is that
all right? Enough.
Enough Jeffrey Epstein Island talk. I just think if you order a pizza at Epstein Island, they have to airdrop it in, so it's like children in parachutes and pizzas falling down at the same time, like the UN dropping supplies in Rwanda. Some people are catching pizzas, some people are catching children. Either way, they're gonna eat.
Either way, they're all Italian.
Get off this subject. Impossible.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Brian. Of course, Rico, the resident curmudgeon, is here, as is Donnie, the great Donnie. And I want to give a shout out top of the show. My brother-in-law, big fan, Steven, what's up? My mother-in-law, Linda, big fan, what's up? They came in. My brother-in-law suggested Mad Men as a good first episode old show to watch. He said the pilot is very different and hilariously in some ways, which I won't spoil, but he said there's a funny picture of a wife or a girlfriend in there that will crack you up. Hey, look, Linda's watching right now. Hey, Linda.
Hey, Linda.
What does Linda think about you peeing in a hotel trash can? What does she think about that?
All right, that is nonsense. Okay, yeah, Donnie,
jumping right into
the judge of this. Okay, you be the judge of this. So we were in Vegas.
I'll be the judge. Tell me.
Last weekend, and I wake up in the morning and I see that there is a trash can full of what is distinctly urine. There's nothing else it could be. It wasn't puke. It was definitely urine. It's yellow. Okay. It stinks like pee. And
at this age in life, you can tell the difference between pee and not pee.
Now, here's the interesting part of the story. So there's a trash can full of pee in the room. But not a drop has been spilled outside of the trash can. So unbelievably accurate stream, unless somebody sat on the trash can, which is tiny and wouldn't hold your weight. There's also, suspiciously, 2 flip-flops, which do not belong to me. They belong to my roommate, Rico. And one is distinctly right to the left of the trash can full of urine, and the other one is to the right of the trash can full of urine.
Right. Okay. All right.
Doesn't the evidence speak for itself here? There's no way it was me that...
The flip-flops were already in the bathroom.
So it could have been anybody. The maid could have done it.
Wait a minute. Is this trash can in the bathroom?
It's in the bathroom, right next to where the toilet is.
Okay.
Yeah, literally.
See, you
had to make an effort not to pee in the toilet.
Because when I was picturing hotel room trash can, I'm picturing the one underneath the TV.
No, this is in the bathroom. That you had to pull it. It was under the sink, so someone had to pull it out from under the sink and then pee in it.
Okay.
And again, the toilet is right next to you, and the shower is right behind you. You had many options to not pee in the trash can. The trash can's tight. The trash can's about 8 by 8. It's not a big trash can.
It was wasn't there a partition in it too?
Why did you pee in the in the toilet or in the trash can instead of the toilet.
Yeah, Rico, why did you do that?
Well, you're addressing it to me. So Brian
Yeah.
in the bathroom is the one who's like, "There's pee in this." I'm like, "Okay, I didn't do it." He's like, "Oh, I didn't do it," and I would remember as if it's any different for me. I wouldn't remember. So
your sandals were right next to it, as though you had gone up to it wearing the sandals and left them after you urinated in the trash can. Why you left the evidence behind?
Pool, I showered.
Okay. If I'm the judge,
and then what? You showered and then put your flip flops on the other side of the trash can you pulled out.
You were kicked there somehow.
Hold on, as the judge,
and it doesn't. It also doesn't make sense because the trash can is like one of those kind of like V-shaped almost, so it's like narrower at the bottom than it is at the top.
Correct.
So if you're standing at a toilet or anything, you're not standing with your feet touching the bottom of the toilet, are you? No. You're
only one flip flop was actually touching the side of the trash can. So maybe you're a guy whose dick shoots a little left, so you tried to brace it against the stream as it curved out of your dick.
Maybe, perhaps. There seems like there's a basin like funnel shape would only allow for more urine to land in it.
Yeah, it's smoothing the entryway.
Here is where we're at
on the floor.
With that. This is like the other case that I worked on as a judge. It was
Don. His show P Detective canceled after one season.
This is in the court of public opinion. It was Smelt It v. Dealt It. And so it sounds like we have two sound stories, but neither of us, we can't pinpoint who's the culprit.
Now, I
just based on the evidence. It's not.
But I'll add this into the evidence for judgment.
No,
just have you not.
Saw a flip flop. You could have put the flip flop there.
I could have. I could have covered my tracks with his tracks. But I also have Rico on record as having vomited the last time we were in the hotel room. He puked all over the place. So he's got a penchant for expelling bodily fluids in hotel rooms.
I won't allow that into evidence because puking has nothing to do with peeing. Exactly. Thank you. No, it has nothing to do with it. Exactly.
Some kind of evidence rule.
No, right.
Look,
we're not. Rico's character isn't on trial here.
Maybe there's a reasonable doubt, but in a civil trial, I would 100% win this based on the evidence presented that Rico peed in this trash.
In a civil trial, you have to have
damages.
He also got back to the room earlier than I did and had
you got
hours.
back at the exact same time. No. I remember perfectly. We left the Spearmint Rhino at about 3:45.
Allegedly,
I had to pay for
allegedly at that location.
Wait, what time did you
and I remember he charged me, which I felt was an exorbitant rate. It should have been
for us
half
to
of what it was.
What time
would you say it was a bladder enraging amount of money?
Spearmint Rhino. We need to know when you got to the Spearmint Rhino to know if it's relevant.
That's irrelevant. Objection. You don't need to know when we got there or when we left.
And it wasn't either one of our ideas to go there.
No, it wasn't. It was a third party's idea to go, and the least likely one.
Rico
it would be like if George pushed to go to a strip club on Seinfeld. That's the circumstances we were under. So that's
I wanted to go to bed at this time, and then this third party, said, "Let's go here." I'm like, "You gotta be fucking!" I can't say I'm going to bed when he's the one bringing it up. If it was Brian, I would have been like, "Oh fuck up, have at it. I'm going to bed." Well,
so you're saying
I'm like.
If you weren't at the Spearmint Rhino that late, then you probably wouldn't have peed in the trash can. Is that what you're saying?
That's what Rico's
I'm saying. I remember everything. I remember leaving. I remember having to pay for the cab. I remember not tipping him because I said, "You charged me a flat rate. That includes your tip, you bastard."
Yeah.
So I find it unlikely that you remember all that and then you don't remember peeing in the thing.
Yeah, that's
so maybe Rico
that
might
was
be
my
clean.
point. That was my point. Brian's argument. And this is what I was telling Justin. We were arguing about this in our room when he was there. And Justin's like, why are you arguing about it? You did it. And I'm like, how do you know that? And he's like, Brian told me. And I'm like, exactly.
That's called first to move advantage in the business world.
called
It's always going to become me just because Brian's going to yell the loudest about it.
No, it's just I saw it. I woke up and I saw it, and it was like
You woke
I
up
didn't
and
do
you
it.
saw what you did.
No, I saw what
we're
you
never
did,
gonna
clearly.
get to the bottom of this mystery because I bet you guys didn't save a pee sample, so we're never gonna.
Well, the problem
know
is we
who
all ate the same
did.
things for the most part too. So there's no like, it's like in the Who Pooped the Bed and Always Sunny. Like there's wolf hair and newspaper and the shit. They're both like, that could be either one of us. That could be anybody.
Exactly.
It was a similar situation in Vegas. Mushrooms allegedly, and I think Korean barbecue or something.
Next time this happens, save a urine sample, and we'll see if our audience wants to pay for the DNA test. See,
I think that's the only way to do it.
Who peed in the can?
That'd be a great episode.
You are not the trash can pisser, and I'll start running around and boxing the air.
And then you'll be so excited you'll pee in a trash can.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, one more thing I want to talk about before we get into these shows.
Now wait a
just
minute.
story.
What?
What?
Pee in a trash can is no big deal, right? It sounds like somebody was going to the bathroom. They saw a hole. They thought it was a toilet.
It makes no sense, though.
It made no sense.
It doesn't.
Unless someone was using the toilet, and the other person couldn't wait.
It does. You know what? It doesn't make sense. But you're in a foreign, you're in foreign territory. You're not on a home court advantage. I have trouble peeing in the dark in my house. So I remember being in different hotel rooms. I've been trying to go through a wall one time, thinking there was a door there to the bathroom, and I'm literally like walking into a closet in a hotel room. Like there are you get disoriented. You're drunk. Who knows? You saw a circular receptacle and you said
it was square. That's the thing. It was an 8x8 square receptacle. It wasn't. And you had to pull it out from under the sink to get to it.
And you can't flush it.
Maybe the toilets at the Spearmint Rhino are square, and so you just thought you were still there. This is a good time.
Well, we should have brought a pregnancy. We should have brought a pregnancy test and dipped that in the pee. And if it came back positive, we know it's neither of us. And some chick snuck in our room, some pregnant chick, pissed in our trash can.
Why didn't we think of this earlier?
Hindsight, man. We were still hungover. We were still drunk.
Pregnant women have to pee all the time. They're always sneaking into hotel rooms and just peeing in them. I've heard of this.
That's a new product. The first episode podcast. Who peed pregnancy test? Top seller. Once again,
get our scientists on it.
So while we're talking about pregnancies,
right?
Let's talk about the Olympics, because the Olympics are one big orgy. And I don't know if you guys saw this story, but it's well known Olympians, and stop me if this sounds crazy to you, Olympians who are all jacked up on testosterone and are all in fantastic shape and are young and attractive and out of town and all condensed in one village, like to screw. They like to screw a lot. Sometimes they have orgies so much that they're screwing. They're screwing so much there's orgies. So the Olympic Village would always put out condoms and all right, if we're going to do it, be safe.
A lot of piss in those toilets.
A lot of piss in those toilets. You got to make sure to clean the pipes out of that. Half a second. If you're, think of it this way. If you're a female sprinter or a pole vaulter or a high jumper, you got a few loads in you, you're losing speed. You're losing some time. That's weight you didn't account for. Think of it that way. Like you got to queef it out before you run. You got to queef it out.
Female trip over a hurdle, you got to wonder.
Imagine some female hurdlers. She has an orgy the night before, and she goes to hurdle the first one, and just goes, and just a bunch of shit flies out.
Well, that was bad planning on her.
She's like, "Whoops! That was the Norwegian ski team." Anyway, so what they did in Paris, I don't know if this is the IOC, I don't know if this is the Parisian Olympics Committee. They made these screwed up beds that have no support for like elbows and knees to try to stop like orgies and boning in the Olympic Village.
I think people will. They'll find a way.
They'll find a way.
Yeah, the French of all people, the French.
They're the sluttiest people.
I know.
Why would they do
Pepe Le Pew is a rapist based off a very, very accurate stereotype of French people.
Yeah. That is funny. They have a rapist cartoon.
There's not a lot of
the cat rapist
stories that you hear coming out of the Olympics. You should just let them have regular
Exactly.
beds, for God's
Let
sakes.
them screw. Let them screw. Like, who cares if they're gonna bang in the Olympic Village? Let them have their fun.
The worst that could happen.
Half these people are going to have to work at Home Depot after this. Let them have
Yeah.
sex at the
not
Olympic Village.
everyone wins a
please.
medal.
Yeah.
What do you
And,
do when you're a professional, like, pentathlon eat?
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about. A
Yeah.
pentathlon?
Yeah. A
athlete?
pentathlete.
Pentathlete.
Well, if we'd have done this,
Exactly. How
if
did
they'd
I
have done
stumble over that?
this in the Olympics 20 years ago, there'd be no Olympians now. You know, we need
Yeah.
Olympic style men and female to bone so that they make more Olympians. It's not like I can make an Olympian over here with my average everything.
It's basically like you're creating Arnold Schwarzeneggers, like in Twins, and like for every, like, you know, Danny DeVito that pops out from Olympic boning, you're gonna get like 3 Schwarzeneggers.
That's right, and you
You
better
know-
hope they're for your country. That's what you're there for, to collect semen for your country for the future.
If you're going to come, please come
Yeah.
in this trash can.
Make
We
sure
need
you
it for
get
the future of France.
a top specimen, and do not fuck any man who has a pee-pee in the trash can in the hotel.
Don't worry, we can tell if you are pregnant. We have the first episode podcast, trash can pregnancy test, huh?
That's right. It's the first ever of its kind. If you pee in it and you're pregnant, the trash can explode and you die. So don't let them come inside you, yeah? Nice.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. Dear by the French doing this.
Putin's like, yeah. That's a good one.
I made this joke. I made this joke 3 times, but I'll tell it here again. I just can't wait for these beds, these like janky, screwed up beds, to collapse and some guy to get hurt, and he has to pull out of an Olympic event because he got hurt pulling out.
Oh no!
What do these beds not have? I don't get it.
I'll show. I'll pull up the story. I'll show it to you right now. Hold on. Paris Olympic beds, no orgy.
No, is it like how they have the spikes on billboards for pigeons so they
Yeah,
can't
it's
hang?
exactly like that.
Or a spinning thing so they can't.
If you bang too deep, a needle just jabs you in the dick. No, look, here's the architect. Here's the douchebag architect. He's like, hey, what did you do with your life? I designed beds nobody can fuck on.
Why does he need a hazard jacket? And
There you
hard
go.
hat?
It's a hazardous job. If you're designing those beds, you probably had to have, like, you know,
enemies?
the strongest
So they wanna
strongmen
kill you?
banging on top of you as you're tightening
Why
up the
couldn't you-
gears.
just bone on the floor next to the bed.
Look, it says the amorous Olympians won't be able to lie on top of each other as the cardboard frames are reportedly designed to collapse under such a weight.
Oh my! That's fucking terrible.
Ridiculous.
Humans got to the point of having more humans before beds. So
Did they not?
I think we're gonna find a way to fuck each other.
Yeah, did they not think they're just going to
regardless
take
of
the
bed.
mattress and put it on the floor, or that every surface in the Olympic Village is going to be covered in cum? Like every bathroom sink, every ladder, every coffee table.
yeah.
Who
They're
was
just gonna bang on
asking
everything
for this
else.
Solution. Who was saying this was a problem?
What if a country
Macron,
gets?
probably Macron,
Yeah.
because his wife's an old hag.
I'd like
jealous.
the alternate
and possibly
country,
a man.
a country that gets the Olympics next 4 years and then makes it extra sexy in the Olympic.
Yeah,
Village,
sex
where
swing in
there-
every room.
where there's
Extra sexy.
vibrating water beds.
They're
with
always talking about how the
swings
ratings are
and
going
great
down.
lighting in
Yeah.
every room.
Yeah, you
I'd
put
love
like
that.
dildos again.
Mini
The hurdles. You put
bars.
dildos on the top
Yeah.
of the hurdles. The girls are jumping over, getting whacked in the crotch, and the men too. If you miss a hurdle, the dick goes right up your ass. That's something
do
I'd
that.
watch.
Like,
The Sex Olympics.
advertise that as you get the,
The next
Olympics
Squid
announced.
Games.
Right,
Yes.
Italy goes, we got the Olympics, and we're doing sexy Olympics, and then everybody's like, I'm training hard, man. I want to get to that Italy sexy Olympics.
Yeah,
That
man.
Olympic Village is gonna be sweet.
Yeah.
Say.
All right, speaking of sweet. All right, let's get into this show here. Let's get into it.
Heyo.
The pilot episode of Seinfeld, guys.
Great stuff.
Classic show. You know, I tried to make, because I titled this episode Seinfeld Baby Reindeer, and I tried to make an AI version, Like I tried to get like an AI thing to make me a version of Seinfeld with deer antlers, and honestly, I should have saved what it came up with because it was pretty fucking funny. It just looked like remember that guy, that Body by Jake guy? It kept creating an artificial image of Jerry Seinfeld with antlers that looked like Body by Jake, but with antlers. It was creepy as hell. So there you go. There's Seinfeld. There's the cast: Jerry, Kramer, George, Elaine.
Yes, but Elaine wasn't
Famous.
in this one.
No, she wasn't in the pilot at all.
No Elaine in the
George
pilot.
wasn't really George. He was
No.
a real estate agent. What?
He's
And he
real
was
estate-
and he was giving the advice. He was like somehow giving advice instead, not good advice, but giving advice.
You know
And he had hair.
the worst part of this episode, which I didn't think it was as bad as I thought it would be going in. The worst part was when they're sitting at the coffee shop at the beginning, and
A
Jerry's
different coffee
like,
shop, by the way, completely
yeah,
different
coffee
coffee.
shop.
Yep. It
Didn't
always
have
different.
this surly black waiter that you love.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
You can't bring in outside maple syrup. Not with that guy.
No outside syrups.
But Jerry's talking. He's like, I met this girl. And George's like, you met a girl? You didn't tell me. What is she like? Like, who the fuck talks like that?
Yeah.
What
And
man,
how long has
have
it
you ever
been?
talked to a friend and you're like, I met some chick. And you're like, you didn't tell me. What's she like? Nope.
You just say what you say 3 words.
You fucker.
Was she hot? That's it. Those are the 3 words you say. Every man says the same 3 words. That's it. Is she hot?
You guys just had 2 different 3 words. I'd be like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Tell me
Every
everything.
man has 3 different words. That's
Yeah.
all you need is 3 words. All right, great for you.
Yeah, it's
Good.
definitely. You didn't tell me. Oh my god! Wow.
Right.
Meanwhile,
Holy crap.
when she got off the plane, it's like, who hired a grandma?
I know. She looked better. So wait,
yeah,
we'll get to that later.
terrible.
So let me run down the plot here in this pilot episode. It really does. I will say this. It really leaned into the. It's a show where nothing. It's a show about nothing because the settings are mundane. It's a coffee shop. It's a laundromat. It's Jerry's apartment, and then it's an airport. So Jerry tells George that he meets a girl. He met a girl doing a show, and she's flying in, and she calls him because she has to be there for a conference, and maybe she'll see him to hang out. And Jerry's into this chick, who, of course, to Rico's point, we later see is 45 years old, but looks kind of hot in a close-up later on. It was a weird era for women's clothing and hair. So George is like, I can't believe she's not interested in you. This is garbage. She's not, she wouldn't say maybe. They asked
You're
the
a backup,
waitress. Yeah, you're a
says.
backup. You're the backup plan. She's here to bang somebody else. And
Right.
there's a funny little throwaway line. Like, you see like kind of the early structure of the Seinfeld, like the little stuff where there's no milk in the creamer thing. And Jerry's like, there's no milk. There's no milk. It's like the everyday interaction stuff, which became a hallmark of the show. But there was a funny line with the chick. George is like, you're a woman. Denise, you're a woman. She's like, how did you know? Something like
Yeah.
I thought of that.
What
I'm
gave
like,
it- what
you
gave
can't
it
say
away?
that in sitcoms anymore.
No.
Yeah. Women
No.
aren't allowed. Women are
What do you
canceled.
Can't get away with it.
identify as?
Can't get away with it. So
Women
this
aren't
woman is coming to
brave
stay with
anymore.
Jerry, and she doesn't tell him where she's staying. And George is ripping into Jerry. He's like, she's coming and she has your number, but you don't have her phone number. You can't even call her. She didn't tell you where she was staying, what hotel. And he's like, no. That image? I was like, was it a simpler time when women would just tell men that they just met where they were staying if they were in town? Like, I mean, were rapes plentiful
Yes.
and were hotels in on it? Like, if you just tipped the bellhop, was he like, another rape for you, sir? All right.
There was
Rico,
a
you look
time
like
where-
a gross worm right now. Please stop doing that. Sit up.
Do this. Oh.
Ew. Oh God. You just look like a neckhead. Like there's no difference between your jaw and your neck. Repulsive.
Well, that's not a good feature.
Oh, no.
It was not a good angle, buddy. I'll tell you what. Neckhead. There you go. Oh, I just thought maybe Rico was laying on his back and he peed into the trash can doing his neckhead thing and just flopped his dick on the inside of the trash can. And that's how you got to pee in the trash can
I wish it was
clean.
that long that I could do that lying down and wrap it over the top. I wish I would be in a different profession right now. I can tell you that much.
It's too bad. Oh, it's too bad. All right. So anyway, they Yeah, that's the plot basically. That's the whole plot of this series. There's not really an A plot, B plot here. It's just A plot of the girl. So let's talk about that. The women.
It's a terrible plot because then he finds out she does contact him at the end. So the way they introduce Kramer is kind of funny because Jerry's sitting around. It's 1:00 in the morning. He must have done a comedy show. Kramer knocks on the door, comes over, pulls out 2 pieces of bread out of his robe and says, "Do you have any meat?" Then he goes to the fridge, gets some meat.
Sticks his whole body in there.
Yeah, sticks his whole body in. And then you learn that that's where Kramer, we all love Kramer, but he was just kind of the neighbor that sits around.
But here's the thing. Here's what's so fascinating about the pilot versus the show and the character evolution. Did you guys notice that Kramer's like, he says something about going out. He's like, I might go out tomorrow. And Jerry's like, yeah. He's like, you haven't been out of the building in 10 years. So Kramer initially was a hermit because the Kramer that he became was the most out guy.
Thank God. We wouldn't have gotten Bob Sacamano.
No, none of it. The raincoat setup.
My friend
FDR.
Yeah.
FDR. Yeah.
Wait, Rico?
FDR.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. FDR.
Franklin Delano Romanowski.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have gotten him being friends with Newman and bringing bags of blood in Jerry's car. Like it was like he went from being a hermit to the guy that did everything, knows everybody in town, is zany, wacky. So thank God. Yeah. Thank God they changed his character.
I noticed that. I'm like, this wouldn't have gone well for Kramer if that was his character. He can't go anywhere with that kind of character. It sucks.
Yeah. Like, how many times can you pop in and be like, I live next door and I don't know what's happening. Look how long my fingernails and toenails are. Like, where's it going to go? Where's the plot going to go?
I'll say Seinfeld was the first show that I remember where each individual character was doing something. And a lot of times their individual storylines would overlap and crisscross.
Right.
And I think that's probably why they needed the Kramer character to do more things. But he was a great baseline because he was a guy, no job, sits around, knows everybody, kind of seediness. But then he is also kind of an actor type, right? He
stand-in.
Yeah, he was a male model. He was a male model.
He's a performer. Like they made him into like a guy who I guess maybe he got a bunch of money doing one performance, bought an apartment next to Jerry, and now he just sits around and does nothing forever.
I think that at some point they may have addressed how he lives. I can't remember what it was. It's always random shit. But Kramer also, he was like the Deus Ex Machina, which is like the god from a machine they used in the old plays. Because anything you needed for your plot, Kramer would always be like, I got a guy. Like he was that was it. You're like, you have a problem. Kramer will solve it with his guy that he's got that he knew there was stuff that came into the lot.
Yeah,
so.
he kept the plot going a lot.
Yep, exactly.
I love that.
And also, did you guys notice? Now, George definitely was a little bit less the George we came to know, but did you also notice that? Remember one of the classic Seinfeld episodes, possibly the best episode of all time, is when George decides to do the opposite of what his intentions are.
Yes,
they set that up in the pilot. In the pilot, he says, "This is what I would do," and so here's what you should do. And Seinfeld, he says like, so you do the opposite of that, and he goes, no, I don't do it. Like he keeps doing the shitty ideas, but he tells Jerry to do the opposite of what he's saying. So in the pilot, you see the seed planted for one of the greatest episodes of Seinfeld ever, where George, does the opposite and somehow is winning on all fronts until he screws it up.
That is one of the best Seinfelds. You're absolutely right, with the exception of the Festivus episode.
Festivus is amazing. The one where they don't masturbate is fantastic. Is that the same episode?
No,
right? Okay.
Festivus is way later.
Yeah. So many. The spitting episode where Kramer gets spit on by
Keith Hernandez.
Who's the Keith Hernandez?
That's early on.
To the left.
Yeah, that's early. I think that's when the JFK movie came out, and so they were doing that parody.
Yeah.
On that.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
So, flashing forward, this girl calls Jerry and says, I want to stay over your place. And she calls him at like 1 a.m, too. Calls him, hey, I can't find a decent hotel room.
Booty call.
And George
can't find a decent hotel room in New York City. Okay.
Right.
How many hotels are there in New York City? Isn't she there?
Exactly.
Didn't she say
One.
she's there for a conference?
Right. Your work should be paying for the hotel either way.
Right. Does a conference ever send you to a foreign city and not give you some accommodations ahead of time?
Rico, we're having a conference. You're not gonna go know where it is until the day of the conference.
Conference surprise!
Bro, get there.
Get on the plane. You think you've been taken like in a Liam Neeson movie, but they're just dropping you at a conference. You're like, I would have rather been in an Italian prison. What the fuck is this? Give me heroin and make me a sex slave. I got to go to this endless database workshop now.
You're in an Italian prison conference.
Honey, I'm coming to get you. No, Dad, please leave me in the sex prison. So,
yes, please.
So the chick calls Jerry. She's like, I'm going to stay over with you.
Like given.
So then Jerry's like, okay, she's staying over. George changes his tune. He's like, oh, well, now it's all the way in. And he brings in a spare bed for her. And Kramer and George are both like, why are you giving her the option to not sleep with you? Which, by the way, I'm no Chester the Molester, but I completely agree with that sentiment. Why, if there's a girl that I like is going to come over to my apartment, I'm not bringing in a spare bed for her. I'll offer to sleep on the couch and then see if I can not sleep on the couch. That's the move. That's all you would do as a man. And it's ridiculous that Seinfeld brings in a spare bed.
Well, maybe he's feeling extra confident. The spare bed will be made of crappy European
the
cardboard.
Same needles. Yeah, the same needles that spike you at the Paris Olympics.
Oh, you collapse through the cardboard bed. I guess you'll have to get on my bed.
So I have no choice but to jump into his bed and do sex with her.
That would be great. Do you think anyone has ever done that? Just has like a cot rigged to fall through. You invite a girl over and then she's like, the springs are poking her and you're like.
I wouldn't put it past any man to have come up with any idea to try to get sex. So
they had,
yes,
and I'll say we'll talk about the bits that were
Absolutely,
through. Oh, for sure. But we'll talk about the bits that kind of ran through this because there's always, Seinfeld. I think they did much less of this as the show went on, if I remember. But in the initial pilot and early seasons, he had a lot of stand-up bits that were interspersed between the episode. Yeah. And he had one, like we're talking about here, What Won't Men Do? The end of the episode, it's a funny bit where he's talking about men and the ways they pick up women. And just, a woman walked across the street and a guy in a car honks at her. And he's like, this man is out of ideas. And he's like, and then the girl just walks by and he's like, I guess she didn't like me.
Before he does that, I love he goes, women are always like, where do we meet men? He goes, rest assured, if there's a woman somewhere, a man is there. We have a representative on the scene.
Yeah.
He goes, it may not be our best guy, but we have a guy there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good. It started off, well,
brilliant.
we're talking about, I think the opening bit sucked. I'll say that. To start the pilot with the bit about, you're out, you're going out.
Yeah,
people like stupid. To be out. You're outside. I had people trying to call you. And you're out. Nothing in that.
You want to go home? Like I never want to go home. That's why I don't get any sleep.
There were about 5.
That's why you pee in trash cans.
There were 5 different segments where they showed the stand-up comedy throughout that first episode, right?
Yeah.
So clearly, the show had no main theme. It wasn't like they're trying to give anybody a message. It was just like, here's some funny observations. And here's a show that kind of reflects those ideas. Yeah, and then just kind of kept bouncing back and forth, which I guess nobody did that before. And then people watched it and they loved it. And Seinfeld was born.
Well, like I said, they got away from it as it went along. Probably because he ran out of material to do.
Exactly.
But it also, like, you didn't need it. But you didn't need it. You didn't need it either. You didn't need to cut to his stand-up. It was
they needed a 20-minute.
The show was funnier without the stand-up.
Yeah. Well, and it didn't even need that. But they asked for a 20-minute show, and he gave them a 15-minute show with 5 minutes of stand-up.
Kind of smart.
Yeah.
It still
I can't take a 20 minutes worth of nothing.
Exactly. And
right.
So he was just and then it just eventually evolved into that, just kind of starting the show, and then the episodes. I guess we got to figure out, when did Larry David come in? Because I think maybe that's when it got.
No, he was co-creator.
He's
co-creator
from the beginning. Right.
Yep,
all right.
So Larry David used to do stand-up too, and he was famous for getting angry at the audience, like yours truly. Too dumb. By the way, we don't want to get angry at you, our audience. So make sure if you're watching this live feed, please do subscribe to the podcast on your feed. Subscribe to the channel you're watching on. Facebook doesn't allow us to broadcast anymore to them, which is very annoying. So make sure to like, subscribe on YouTube, on your podcatcher, on Rumble, wherever you're at. Please do hit subscribe.
We're bigger than Facebook.
Yeah, we are. We've outlasted them. All right, so let's get back to this. All right, so the chick, as you said, he's at the airport.
yeah.
Jerry goes to the airport. It's all set up, right? And what walks through the door, how would you describe her, Rico? This woman who gets off the airplane?
Oh, no. It's grandma.
Librarian grandma.
Yeah.
Who
So
doesn't make
unappealing.
cookies. Yeah.
Like, oh.
It was...
how would you meet this woman and be interested in her?
Yeah.
Like, if they wanted directions, I would be like, oh, do I talk to you?
Send her the wrong way on the off chance that you might run into her again.
Go somewhere else. Just so
Yeah.
boring. Just looking at her made me want to fall asleep. And he's like interested in her. She's wearing some terrible dress.
Oh,
Like,
God. It wasn't even
ankle
dress. No.
length.
It was like the fashion, as I would describe it, is the show Blossom.
Yeah.
Remember Blossom? It was
Grown
that.
Up Blossom.
It was a suit under vest over like a blouse
That's our next episode.
on top of we should do it Blossom. On top of like just baggy MC Hammer clown pants. It was a horribly hideous outfit, and
a
of course
giant
blouse
blouse
and a man's haircut. Ellen DeGeneres'
In a
haircut.
vest. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's
that
horrible.
was it. It was
Horrible.
the Ellen times.
It was the time, like the 90s were the worst time for fashion. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, big time period for wearing smaller t-shirts under larger t-shirts.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
Dumb.
that's all Jerry did in this episode. T-shirts on t-shirts on t-shirts. Yeah, so this woman, this hideous librarian, who looked a little bit better on a close-up, but her outfit, and her hair did her no favors. She gets to the airport. And they're talking about the greeting, right? They're like, what if she goes in, if she gives you a big hug and you kiss her on the mouth, you're getting laid. If she leans in to hug you with the butt out, you're not. If she just shakes hands, we don't know. But she winds up, she puts her bags down, runs up behind him, and then puts her hands over his eyes. And it's like, guess who? And then gives him like a weird double handshake, happy to see you thing after he guesses who it is.
Yeah.
So
That
nobody
George
knows what to make of it.
You know who solved that problem?
Who dat?
Ryan Reynolds and Just Friends, one of the greatest movies ever.
Bin Laden. You can't wait for someone at a gate anymore. Are you insane? You have to wait like the
Thank you, Bin Laden.
Like outside baggage claim. Like it's them. They can't sneak up on you. You're not
right,
allowed
Rico.
anywhere near that gate.
People don't give Bin Laden enough credit as a problem solver for this specific issue.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's what's on this tombstone. It's created what is it called? Al Qaeda, blew up the Twin Towers, ended men awkwardly shaking hands and hugging women at airports.
Yeah.
And created the TSA.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That erases all of it.
Thanks for letting me
Fucking
take off my shoes.
bastard.
In public. Awesome.
God, can we just get a standard on TSA? Some you go, you have to take all your crap out. Some you have to take your shoes off. Some you don't. Some you have to take your electronics out. Some you don't. Some you just wave at, and then you walk
I
by.
like the TSA where they give you like your pre-check, but it's like some small regional airport. They don't have the capacity for pre-check, so they give you a card that you hold. Have you ever had these?
No, I don't have pre-check. I don't fly enough.
Oh, well,
me
when I
neither.
used to fly all the time, I'd have to go to like shitty little airports.
I
And
only
they-
fly private.
They would give you a
Yeah.
card, yeah, and you would hand it to the person saying, "I'm pre-check," and so they wouldn't
So you had to wait in
screen you
line.
the same way as everyone else. It's fucking ridiculous.
So you had to wait in line the same way, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I would-
one,
Well,
there's
that
one
seems
metal
completely-
detector. One.
Moronically worthless.
Yeah.
It's like speed dating when you go, I am pre-cum. No. Sorry. Move on.
Okay.
But
So,
But I'm group one.
all right. So,
Are we gonna finish Seinfeld? I got to.
yes, and then yes, we are.
Are we,
So,
are we just gonna read word by word in the script? Because this is taking longer than the actual show.
Yes, we're finishing it right now. God damn it. So she comes. She goes to his apartment. They sit down. He's like, do you want something to drink? She's like, oh, do you mind if I stay here tomorrow too? And he's like, all right. And then she's like, can I have some? He's like, do you want anything to drink? She goes, I'll have some wine. And he's like, all right. You know, he's thinking in his head, I'm going to get fucked tonight. Then the phone rings. She picks it up. And the conversation, you'll hear the one side. She goes, oh, no. We're going to, and she also asked him, she tells him she wants to go on a 5-hour boat ride around Manhattan, which he commits to. So then the phone rings. She figures, she's like, oh, no. What? No, we're just going to go on a boat ride. Oh, come on, please, whatever. And then she hangs the phone. She's like, never get engaged. And of course, Jerry's just
didn't get punched in the face.
I would have told her to leave. If I knew that person one time, I'd be like, get out now. Get out. Get out now.
Hey, I bet you for 5 minutes. Why are you staying here? Fucking weirdo.
Exactly.
What a Best Western.
Exactly. Kick her out. I would have been like, Kramer, she's yours. Throw her to the wild. Throw her to the wild man.
Fuck wouldn't have gone on the boat ride. Like, he was still acting like, no, I'm not going.
Well, for humor's sake, of course, but.
And find a different room for tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you let her stay that night. And then
you have your fiance pay for your hotel.
Yeah.
What kind of loser is he? He's letting you stay at some random guy's house so he doesn't have to pay for a hotel room.
She's like, he's poor, but he's got a huge dick.
I like the guy. Yeah, her fiance is smart. He's like, yeah, go hang out with
He's a baller.
That dude you met.
Yeah.
I'm over here banging chicks.
Go away, Grandma.
Yeah.
So
I found a woman with long hair who looks pretty and feminine.
Oh God, yeah. Hey, good news! It just turned to the 2000s here. I don't have to date ugly women anymore. So when you catch up, call me. All right. I have to share this. I don't think YouTube will knock this down. I hope not. But one of the greatest issues or instances and comedic bits based off the whole I have a boyfriend thing came from the show with Matthew Berry, who's one of my favorite comedic actors. He's in What We Do in the Shadows now and a bunch of other shows. And also, oh God, what's it called? Fuck it. Well, he was on this show called Snuffbox back in the day, a British comedy sketch show. And let me just play this for you. It's incredible.
Oh, weren't we talking about this last week?
Yes, and now I'm playing it.
Look at that woman over there.
It's when he was peeing in the
by the estate
bathroom.
agents.
Woman? Well, she wants to buy a house.
You're
So there's a
naive.
super hot
You
blonde
see
over
reading
there.
those women's magazines.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, where you see champagne, I see clearly
He said
wants to
pussy.
be picked up.
What makes you such an expert?
I wasn't made an expert. I was born one. Watch this.
So he's going up to her to hit on her. She's looking at houses outside the real
So
estate
why would a
market.
beautiful woman like you be looking at flats in a neighborhood like that? Mongelese, tous FM?
What does that mean?
It means why put bay windows on a shit house? Clearly, a woman as beautiful as you would be living in Kensington Gardens.
Really? You think so?
I don't think so. I know so.
It's like what my boyfriend was saying the other day.
Fuck you.
So for those who don't know, she was carrying a potted plant, and he's like, "Let me carry that for you." Immediately throws it through the window of a Porsche and tells her to fuck herself. Now there's a woman walking on the street, a pretty girl carrying an aquarium.
Can I help you with that?
Are you sure?
Absolutely. My lady is in distress, and I'm here to rescue her.
Thanks. They say chivalry's dead, but I think you're making a pretty strong case for its revival.
Well, I'm always ready to help a beautiful lady. I help the ugly ones as well, but I'd definitely say you're in the former camp. Where am I taking this?
Well, it's only a few streets away. I'm moving in with my boyfriend,
Fuck
Ian.
Kills the fish, and then runs away.
They look heavy.
All right, now he's in a bar.
Thank you, handsome. The gin and tonic's for my sister, Ruth.
Okay.
This one is for Stacey.
Hello.
And if you could hand this one to my boyfriend.
Fuck you.
Whiskey! Now it's in the olden days. He's in a king's
I would be
garden.
honoured if my lady were to christen the rope folly I have erected.
Erected.
I should do that in our backyard.
There, it's Rupert. Look, on the horse. Yoo-hoo!
Hello. A friend of yours, I presume?
My fiancé.
Fuck you.
Pushes her off the swing. All right, and now the best of the bunch. She walks up. There's a lady walking a bunch of dogs. It's tangled up with another pooch.
Oh, thank you so much. You're such a gentleman.
Well, it has been said that I'm a gentleman, but never a gentleman.
Terrible.
Can I accompany you on your journey?
Sure. I've got to get Scruffy back to my boyfriend and then I...
Fuck you.
He kicks the other one for fun.
That's the favorite part. He fucking takes her dog. As soon as she says his boyfriend, punts the dog, and then just kicks the other dog for no goddamn reason running down the street. Fuck you!
No
God,
one's
I think
gonna
at any
taste him
time.
that way.
Oh, any and every time some chick says she has a boyfriend, it makes me want to do exactly that. Right, I'm married now, but in my younger years. All right. So anyway, Seinfeld pilot. Then we'll move on to let's move on to Baby Reindeer. What do you guys give it? What's your grade?
Which one? Baby
Seinfeld.
Reindeers.
No, Seinfeld.
Oh.
You haven't talked about Baby Reindeer, idiot. Why would I ask you for a grade on that now?
Well, you brought it up.
Yep. As the host of the show, I tend to do that.
Hey,
Tend to
John,
move
welcome to the
show
format.
along.
So what we do here, I'd give it a like a 3.5 out of 5. I never remember what scale I use.
What does it matter?
Usually we
what
do it
get?
out of 10. Rico, learn the
Yeah.
fucking format.
Yeah, it's every 2 weeks. Well, you can
Yeah.
figure out if I give it a 3 out of 5.
Rico,
then-
Jerry's Seinfeld future is dependent on this review.
You know what's interesting? Now that you say it's out of 10, I don't really think it's a 7. I think it's a 6. That's I don't understand how that works in my brain. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10.
All right, 6 out of
Potential
10.
room
It does not make sense. 3.5 does not. It's all right. Well, fine.
I
6
don't
out of
know.
10. All right, Donnie.
Well,
Weird. Don't
I
ask
like,
me what it would be out of 20.
yeah, I think
Getting
it's
crazy there.
I think 6 is a good. I like Rico's 6 is a generous 6, if I could say so, because the show obviously evolves into something we know, which is amazing. But that episode was terrible compared to what Seinfeld really is. Just
Oh, there was funny
I'll be
moments.
kinder. I'll give it a 7, but because you have to remember, guys, how bad most TV really is. I mean, it's just unwatchable dog shit. So I'm going to give Seinfeld pilot a 7. It's definitely not as good as what the show becomes. And again, no Elaine. Kramer's a hermit instead of the outgoing, bizarre psychopath he becomes. I'll give it a 7. It had enough funny bits in it that I would, if I was halfway through, I was like, I don't know if I was watching this the first time, I don't know if I would have kept watching it. But then as it went on, it kind of won me over.
Oh, right. Absolutely. It became one of the best, I think, sitcoms of all time.
Yeah. All right. So moving on.
All right.
Baby Reindeer. Baby Reindeer. This one is on Netflix. It's a British show. And I guess they say based on a true story. I don't know if I believe that shit for 1 second. But it was a play. And it is from this guy. I can't remember his name, but whatever. Some guy is supposedly a true story of this guy being stalked by this woman. This initially kind of, funky, you feel bad for, likable, unlikable. And it was painful, but entertaining. So let me hear your guys' thoughts on the show, and then I'll kind of walk through the basic plot. Here's the main chick, the main chunk. She does come across a very sweet character until you learn a little bit more about her. And the lead guy is kind of a bartender comedian schlub, which a tall, handsome comedian schlub, failed comedian schlub. So I obviously held him deep to my heart.
And he also got mad when the audience didn't like his jokes, which kind of reminded me of something.
But I'm still doing it. Is he? No.
And
I have a
and
podcast.
No, I didn't watch any more episodes.
And a comedy show.
And his jokes sucked, which remind me of someone.
My jokes are fucking fantastic, man. How dare you?
See, he's already yelling at people.
Idiot. You know what? Just for that, I'm gonna try to find a
Mine.
joke that I wrote in my phone and tell it.
Well, my joke just now was really good. So there you go.
I
learn
laughed.
from that. Thank you. That's how it works.
All right, I got a joke for you.
That's usually how a joke works. People laugh.
Ready? I know I look like a Holocaust denier, but I believe in it completely. Just not the Jewish one. I believe in the Irish one. Prohibition. Sure, 6 million Jews died, but in ours, 6 million livers lived, and Irish wives everywhere went unbeaten. It was a hard time for my people.
It's a rough one. You gotta.
This is not a completed joke, but it's what I had in my phone handy to read.
Go back to the workshop on that one.
Yeah.
Go back to what? The camp, Rico? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
I
Go
know
back to camp. Go back to the joke camp.
So you gotta say, hey, the Holocaust, shrapnel, Irish stuff.
Just think of all the black eyes that went unblackened during the Prohibition era. Sad. All right, moving on. So, Baby Reindeer.
Yeah, you don't need the Holocaust for that.
No, I mean,
Yeah, you could just make a joke about how women didn't get beat up by their drunk husbands.
Yeah, that's why
that's not a
Irish
very
women
good
are
premise
so
for a
pale.
joke.
And then you got to make a joke with. Well, the joke could be then. That's why.
Why are Irish women so pale?
Thrilled.
So that their weak Irish boyfriends can give them black eyes people can still see?
No. Yes,
There's
because during Prohibition, they stopped getting beaten, so the blood stopped flowing to their face. They became all white.
That is fact. Irish women need to be beaten. My wife's Scottish. That's the problem with her. She doesn't like it.
They fight back.
Yeah.
And
Tooth and
those
nail.
balls.
Well, yeah.
Tooth and nail and shillelagh.
All right, so Baby Reindeer. I'll give you a quick rundown. So basically, Baby Reindeer starts off. This guy goes to the police station and he's like, "Hey, this chick's stalking me," and the guy goes, "You know what fruit do you have?" And he goes, "Oh, I got all these emails," and he brings up one email and it's like, "I just ate an egg," and he's like, "Well, there's others that are far more threatening."
Why would you have the threatening one ready? Like, they're going to ask. Like, oh, I don't know. I'll just pull up a random one. Like, how about you have your fucking evidence in line, pal?
It was funny, though. So he's like, "I'm being stalked by this crazy woman." And he's telling the story. He's like, "How long?" And the cop's like, "How long you been stalked for?" And he's like, 6 months. And he's like, "Well, why didn't you come earlier?" And the guy goes, "Well," and then it goes into the show.
Right.
And the show is, this guy's a bartender and a failed comedian who's now bartending in his late 20s. He moved to London to be a comedian, but he's a shitty prop comic. The worst of all comics, to be honest.
Yes.
So
Carrot Top without the humor.
Carrot Top, the worst.
Or
Which
the
reminds me
muscle.
of course, the greatest Norm Macdonald segment on Conan O'Brien ever, where it wasn't Heather Locklear, it was one of those other hot chicks from 90210 had left the show, and she left 90210.
Oh, Allison,
yeah.
I don't remember her actress name, though.
She was super hot.
Yeah.
She was in the movie Summer School, also being super hot. But she left the show because she was going to pursue a career in film and was in a movie called Chairman of the Board with Carrot Top. And Norm Macdonald was on Conan O'Brien. I'd play the clip, but I'm worried that I don't think the British clip will get us pulled off YouTube. But I know if I play the Conan clip, it'll get flagged. But Conan has Norm on, and she's like,
Conan
"Yeah, I'm going
has
to do this movie with
excellent
Carrot
lawyers.
Top," and he's like, "You left 90210 to do a movie with Carrot Top." So what's the movie called? She goes, "Chairman of the Board." He goes, "Does that spell Bored?" And big laugh. And he goes, "You know what I would have called it? Box office poison."
She's laughing, and she's like mad that she's laughing.
I know.
She's like, shit.
Worst, and she was never heard of again. I don't think that girl. Worst career decision ever. Anyway, so this guy's a failed comedian. He's Tenenbaum, and this kind of short, chunky girl walks in, And she's enamored with him, and he's enamored with her because she's giving him attention. And she's laughing at everything, and she's making him feel good about himself. And he's kind of, flirting with her in a bartender way, but she takes it in a more serious way.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll leave it there to start off the description, guys. So what do you think of the kickoff of the show with Baby Reindeer? What are your thoughts?
So I didn't get why he kept talking to her when she was so full of shit.
She kept saying that she was a very famous lawyer with all these big clients, but couldn't afford a drink.
Couldn't afford a cup of tea, but she's a famous lawyer and she has all these contacts in her phone, Tony Blair and
and she shows them the contacts. Obviously, you just type in the name. And
I guess they typed in their own name, and it can't be a fake and made up.
And a funny aside was that she would text him and email him, and everything was sent from my iPhone, but he could see her phone was not an iPhone; it was a flip phone.
Right. He knew that. Right. Well,
that was a good funny bit.
I think he knew right away that she was full of shit. He was empty, and that's why he wanted a fan. Right. He wants attention. He has no attention. Here's some attention. And he even tells it I knew right away that it wasn't an iPhone. So he knew that everything that she says is bullshit. And so, but he loved it, and he kept entertaining her, right?
And with her.
Yeah. Well,
hanging
also,
out with her.
and he said, and look, I've been sucked into this trap more than I'd like to admit. And I don't feel bad about it at all, but he was like, I felt bad for the minute I saw her. There's certain people that are just wounded animals, and you see them and you feel bad, and you're like, I want to be friends with this person because I can see that they need a friend, right?
That's not your job.
It's not my job. No, it's not anybody's job. But at the same time, look, there's certain things in life. Like my daughter, I'm sure she'll be a beautiful supermodel, but I want to tell her to be kind. There's a guy you both have met. I'm not going to say his name. His initials are MM. You met at the Sports Harbor back in the day. Sweet guy, but a broken individual that needed friends, and it reminds you of this person very, very closely because he'd go on, and this chick would tell her she'd sit down.
It's Mickey
and
Mouse.
Tell stories.
For everybody
yes, Mickey Mouse. No, but it's so in this show, this chick would sit down and tell stories about her blah blah this and that, and their famous friends and blah blah. She'd just go on about nonsense. And the same thing happened with this guy that I knew, who rest in peace, sadly, passed on. But there are people in the world that you can tell are lonely and need somebody to talk to, and somebody needs to talk to these people, man. And I respect anybody that will take that on. And you need people to talk to them. That's how you stop people from going fucking nuts, by the way, and shooting places up.
And that's
how you stop it. Talk to people that are lonely. FYI.
And that's why we need bartenders. God bless them, because they are the ones that are listening to the crazy people right before they go and snap.
Yeah.
And it's bartenders that are really holding this country together.
Yep. Again, why prohibition is so bad.
Yeah.
Terrible.
They're a friend, an alibi.
Yeah.
Your therapist.
So this gal gets locked in on him because he's the only person showing her attention. So she comes every single day, different outfit, every single day.
Yeah. She shows up. He likes it. He's adored by her. And then he does a comedy show.
Well, before that, she somehow finds his email. And because she's stalking him now, and she finds his website and has comedy stuff on it, which is some old clips she's embarrassed about, but she finds his email address and she's sending him 30 emails a day, including ones that are uncomfortably bizarre. And I'm enjoying these. You see the emails, they read them on the screen. It's her, it says, hey, honey bunny, I can come many times in one setting. I'll teach you. You just have to use all your fingers. And this is out of nowhere. They haven't had these conversations. She's just sending these weird ass texts. Wearing thongs, and I don't need that up my gash and all this. They're very sexual and all misspelled badly.
Now,
indicating
also
this
though,
chick's got something off upstairs.
he does also then Google her. He finds out who she is.
Well,
and
wait.
finds-
That's later, though. That's later. Wait.
Oh,
wait,
go
wait.
ahead. Okay.
Let's wait to get to that because, as you said, Don, he has a comedy show. Now they go out for coffee. She wants him to. She says she's got her birthday coming up. He says he's gonna go out with her for her birthday, and she thinks it's gonna be like this romantic thing. And he's like, no. Let's pump the brakes on that because he sees she's kind of wackadoo and doesn't want to get into it. So they go out for coffee.
Right.
And at coffee, she acts like a nutball, grabbing his hand and has a massive outburst that kind of scares everybody around. And he then follows her home because he's like, this chick says she's, all these things. Follows her home. She lives in squalor in a little apartment, and she catches him looking through the window and emails him immediately.
Yes,
Tinkly winkly, you tugging your pee looking through the window.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
So
that
he's
was the
like,
weirdest thing.
fuck.
Is that he's trying to end it? Like he feels uncomfortable with her in the coffee.
Now, would
and
you
then
guys
he
have stalked
follows
her? Would you have done it? Would you have stalked her home just to see?
No.
I
would
wouldn't
have never
I
even
wouldn't
been
have.
on the coffee date.
Yeah.
I would have been curious. I might have done it. I might have been curious.
No.
Why
If
is
you're
he
gonna stalk
engaging with her?
somebody?
Like, especially once she's acting.
I can tell you for a fact because I would have done this. I am this guy. I would have done the same thing. I would have felt bad. And I would have done. I would have tried to let her down easy. I would have done the same thing.
I am so lazy. I'd be like, I gotta go home and hang out and watch TV. Maybe have one of those edible gummies. Just really, that's no desire to chase some rando chunkerton down the street to see where she lives.
Fine. All right. So after that, Don, then we get to the comedy club, right?
Okay, Comedy Club's good. Comedy Club's a good scene because he is. They established that he's not a really good comedian from the beginning of the show, and he starts to do his comedy act, and she's in the audience and she's laughing, and then he does some crowd work with her, and the crowd likes it, and then it turns into him having, I think, one of the best sets he's ever had, and that's why he kind of responds positively to her from here on after, which I thought was kind of weird.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. So, by the way, the joke he told on stage was not bad. He goes out there and he's a tall white guy, and he goes, "Oh, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, boy, Vanessa Williams has really not Vanessa Williams,
Venus.
the
Venus.
Venus.
Oh,
Venus
yeah.
Williams has
I
really
thought
let
that was
herself
good.
go, and then nobody laughs."
I thought
And he goes, "It was a funny joke. Yeah, it's funny." So he goes, "Nobody laughs." He goes, "Oh no, sorry, this is a new joke. Let me pull my notebook out." And he pulls it out. He goes, "I'm sorry, I meant Serena Williams has let herself go."
Yeah,
And nobody laughs. It's a fucking funny joke.
That's pretty good. I think that was pretty good.
Yeah, I could have pulled it off. It's pretty. It's a funny joke.
Right.
You steal
So,
it?
yeah, I will steal it tomorrow. So anyway,
Anyone seen Baby Reindeer? No. All right.
Well then. Anybody here seen Seinfeld?
No
well
reason
then.
I asked.
What's with these guys honking horns at women crossing the street?
What's up with
That
Maybe
would be
remember the
hilarious.
pilot is
If you just pulled random people's jokes one at a time that
from
made
old
no
shows.
sense. You pull a Kevin Hart, you pull a Seinfeld.
Anybody here seen Mall Cop? Or what is it?
Paul Blart?
Anybody seen Paul Blart Mall Cop? All right. Well, anyway, I love people be like, I saw this comedian Brian Williams. He's hilarious. Weirdest thing though, kept asking if I see these random shows. Don't know. Loved him. Can't wait to see him again. It's killer.
I think I would go to that show if you ever do that as a whole set.
It would be funny to do this one time as like as 100% tongue in cheek, like just to fuck with people. Oh shit!
I'd go. Yeah.
Oh, so anyway, like Don's talking about the guy. Goes, well, you tell him, Don. He gets a Facebook invite, right?
He gets a Facebook invite to be her friend. And she has well, before that though, is where he looks her up. So he knows that she's been to his show. He knows that
hold on.
she's.
The Facebook invite has pictures that clicks her Facebook page, and on her page, she has pictures of her photoshopped in with Tony Blair and
Yes.
all these other people.
She has her
says
photoshopped in with all sorts of people that she says she knows, and it's obviously Photoshop work. Then he looks up her name and finds her information on Google. He finds out that she is a criminal stalker, that she has stalked a lot of people.
Prison for stalking.
She's been to prison. She's stalking. She's really into stalking. She loves stalking.
She beat up a client's mentally handicapped child.
She's good at stalking. She's crazy. She's all about it. And then it goes
and
to
she was a lawyer, though. But she was a lawyer for real.
She was
until
a
she got
lawyer.
disbarred for being a psychopath that went to jail.
Yes, because she beat up the retarded kid.
And then, his elderly grandmother.
And the elderly grandmother. I mean, she went on a tear. Who knows what she's up to? And then they show the guy. So he learns that information.
Jesus, Rico, wake up.
Then he sees that she sent him a friend request. And then he goes, I have a stalker. And then he accepts the friend request. Yep. So he's obviously so excited to be desired, right? He's so empty inside that a stalker relationship is something he wants. He knows she's a stalker, and then he accepts the friend request.
Well, and he looks over at his chest of like comedy prop bullshit, and he had such a good show with her in the audience that he's like, I've got a fan, and I can work with this fan in the audience of the shows too.
So yeah,
it's a career move as well.
Right, because his career decisions have been so good up until this point that this next career decision is going to be just as good.
Just as good, if not better. And that's where it ends. He accepts the pod, or accepts the pod. He accepts the invite.
Nope, that's me and Rico. We accept the job as the podcast.
Yep. So, what do you guys give it? What's your grade?
This one's like a 4 out of 10. It's
really?
Terrible.
Wow. What?
I agree. I did not like this. As soon as this, I couldn't wait for it to be over. As soon as it was over, I went to the Netflix queue and I scrolled down and said, remove this from recent watch lists. I never want to see it suggested to me again. I hated it. Then I read on IMDb to see what it was rated. Because I'm like, did everyone else? And apparently we're the outliers because everyone loved it. And it's a dark.
I'm not surprised.
Thriller.
I'm not surprised.
All right. Well, I'm not going on this journey with any of you because I hated this show.
Wow. I actually, I'm in. I'm gonna watch the next episode. I gotta see what happens.
Well,
I give it like at least a 8 out of 10. I thought it was interesting.
I don't like stories where you could avoid them by not being an idiot. Yeah. And so, I like a story where it's fun and things are happening.
I am that idiot, so.
Yeah, and so all right.
This story speaks to me.
This should never happen in real life because an idiot shouldn't be that stupid, but idiots exist, and I guess that's why the story exists, because it's based on a true story. So,
yeah.
There you go.
All right, well, interesting. All right, so for next time up, what are we doing, guys?
What do we got?
What are we doing?
Well, we know we're gonna let's do Mad Men based on your uncle-in-law or whatever that guy is.
My brother-in-law. Yeah, all right, let's do Mad Men. I've never seen Mad Men.
I've seen some
Have you guys
old
seen
ones.
it before?
I'm pretty sure I watched the first 2 episodes a really long time ago when everyone was like,
that's pretty old. It's pretty old. Yeah.
But beyond that, no, I never really.
All right, so Mad Men will be the old show, and then maybe a new show. Brian is looking. There's probably.
I'm looking at our list right now. A new show. Well, so the new Doctor Who has a new season out. You can do the new Doctor. It's a gay black Doctor Who.
Yeah, I heard
that. No. That's an old show, though. You can't do it. It's got to be a new show.
Well, no, we've done old shows with new seasons, but all right. Well, what's a new show that just came out then?
I know. I think MILF Manor has a new.
What?
Is
Yeah.
is that a new show or a new season?
There's a new season. MILF Manor came out season 1. Now
Let's just say
there's
this is a new season of Doctor Who, though, but it just came out.
No, we got to watch episode 1 of the first season.
But Doctor Who is like 15
Well, if we're
years.
you know, actually,
MILF
if we're gonna
Manor's
do Doctor
2
Who, we
years.
should do the original Doctor Who and then the new Doctor Who. Should we do that?
That's a lot of Doctor Who's. I got to think
Should we do that
about
in
that
4
more.
weeks? Well, the original's black and white.
Yeah, that's way old. Mad
Ah.
Men.
All right, but well, we could do Mad Men as an old show. The question is the new show.
Do you guys have HBO?
I do.
Yeah.
Is that like that spy show? I don't know if it's any good. You know what I'm talking about?
Spy show. No.
Let me see what.
Do you know what you're talking about?
Yes, I just saw it while I was looking.
HBO spy shows. Spy Master?
No. Hold on a second.
Spy? I have got the 100 top 20 spy and espionage TV shows. A Spy Among Friends?
Someone famous is in it. Why is it not
Wow,
popular?
that narrows it down for shows on HBO. Wow, someone famous is in it, you
The,
say?
the Sympathizer. It's Robert Downey Jr. play bunch of.
Robert Downey Jr.'s in it. Okay. All right, let's do it. The Sympathizer. All right, sounds good.
Maybe it's terrible.
Mad Men and the
The
Sympathizer.
name. Well, I'll tell you what. The name is fucking terrible. And the name
Sympathizer
alone
only a
makes you-
7 out of 10.
It makes you not want to watch it. That's fine. This is a review podcast. It doesn't have to be good.
Now
Rico.
maybe
We're just watching.
we'll change our minds.
If I get a 7 out of 10 from a chick, that'd be great. I'd be very pleased with 7 out of 10.
Or 7 out of 10 inches from a dude. Also good. You're not penetrated too deep, but
Is
a nice
Euphoria considered a new show? I've never
Room
watched
to
it.
no.
grow.
That show is so depressing. I don't want to watch it. I'll tell you this: the first episode of Euphoria, I was like, Sydney Sweeney's tits. Holy shit! That was an oh my god moment. It was such a depressing show. I never watched another episode. I couldn't. The breasts weren't enough for me to keep watching because it was so depressing. It was like the movie Spun. If you ever seen the movie Spun,
Yeah,
ugh.
that is a downer of a movie or a show.
That's when you want to slit your wrists immediately afterwards.
That's
this
every
is
day
a
for
family
me.
show. We don't want to
Yeah, I know. Well, we can. Yep, it is.
do it on
And
camera.
son, that's why if you're going to be an Olympian, you don't want to fucking Paris.
or
family
on a cardboard bed.
No cardboard bed. Fucking. All right, so next time in 2 weeks, guys, it'll be. I think we'll be back on a regular Thursday schedule. We had to do it early tonight because I have an event tomorrow. But The Sympathizer, again, one of the shittiest titles for a show I've ever heard in my entire life. The Sympathizer. Wow, The Sympathizer sounds like a show for elderly women who sit around with like weak men.
So
And
like
just go, "It's gonna-
Seinfeld.
It's all right. Yes. Yeah. Seinfeld's dating pool. Why is it every time I need sympathy, I got to go to these old ladies?
I gotta go to Robert Downey Jr. All right, so Sympathizer and
Mad Men.
And Mad Men. Original Mad Men.
Mad Men.
Yep.
They're gonna be
All right,
too
Don,
long.
take us out. What? Shut up, Rico. Don, take us out. Closing line.
out.
It was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great!
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good,
It
though.
could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!